Recording. Okay, so today's lesson we're going to be solving two-step inequalities. So we have solved inequalities by adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing. Now we're going to combine those. Solving two-step equalities is just like solving two-step equations, except for the same rule that we had when we were multiplying or dividing. If we multiply or divide by a negative, we have to reverse the inequality. So there's not really a lot of new stuff in this lesson, just the way we're combining it all. Okay, and I said that again up here. Solving two-step inequalities is just like solving two-step equations, except that if you multiply or divide by a negative number, you must reverse the inequality sign. Okay, so starting with this first example, a over 4 plus 3 is less than or equal to negative 2. I need to get the variable by itself. So I need to get rid of two things. I have to get rid of this 4, and I have to get rid of the 3. Order of operations would tell me I'm going to divide and then add. So when I undo operations, I do the reverse. So I'm going to start by subtracting 3 from both sides. I end up with a over 4 is less than or equal to negative 5. Okay, now I have to get rid of the 4. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 4. I get a is less than or equal to negative 5 times 4 is negative 20. And then it asks me to graph the solution. So I'm going to put negative 21, negative 20, negative 19. A is less than or equal to negative 20, so I do a closed circle. It's less than, so I go left. Okay. Any questions about that, Michael?
I go to that one. I'm supposed to ask that. What is
Not right now. Okay. Any questions about?
Hey, she shined out on the boys.
Are there any questions about this?
That's a girl in the.
Okay, volunteer to tell me how to solve this inequality. David.
Add 5.
Add 5. Good. We have a negative 5 to get rid of, so we're going to add 5 to both sides. What do we end up with?
C over 3
Good.
is greater than 9.
It's greater than what?
Oh.
Oh.
Negative 6.
No. Positive 5, negative 1.
Positive.
Different signs, subtract.
Oh. 4.
Yeah, it's just 5 minus 1. Okay, now what do we do?
Multiply by 3.
Good. What do we end up with?
C. Greater than 12.
Good. Graph the solution. I'm just going to do 11, 12, 13. Do I use an open or closed circle?
Open.
Open. And do I go to the right or to the left?
To the right.
Good. Okay, any questions about that one? Okay, let's look at another example. This one does have a negative number in front of the x, so this is going to require us to do a little switching around. This one I have a negative 6, so I'm going to start by adding 6 to both sides. I get negative 3.5x is greater than 4.2. Signs are different, so I'm going to subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. Now I'm going to divide both sides by negative 3.5. When I do, I have to reverse my inequality sign, and I get negative 1.2. Yes?
Where'd you get 4.2 at?
Negative 1.8 plus 6 is 4.2. They're different signs, so you're going to subtract them. So I'm doing 6 minus 1.8, which is 4.2. Okay? Okay, now on the graph, I'm going to do some points, negative 1.3, negative 1.2, negative 1.1. I'm going to do an open circle, and I'm going to go to the left. Okay, next one we're going to do together because we're running a little short on time. Let's see. Taylor, can you tell me what I would do first?
Subtract the half.
Good. Subtract the half. So I'm going to subtract half. Okay, 1/5 minus a half. I would find a common denominator, so I would do, let's see, this would be 2/10 minus 5/10, which is negative 3/10, is greater than or equal to negative 1/3 A. Now what am I going to do? Taylor, you want to keep going with that? Okay, and what would the reciprocal be? What's that? 3/1 or 3/1, or we could just multiply by just 3. So I'm going to multiply times negative 3. I'm just going to write times negative 3. Same thing over here, times negative 3/1. So when I multiply by the reciprocal, that gets rid of all this. So I'm left with A. I need to reverse my sign because I multiplied by a negative number. 3/10 times 3 is 9/10, and that's going to be positive because I'm multiplying a negative number times a negative number. So my graph, if I do 4/5, 9/10, and 1, because this would be 8/10, 9/10, 10/10 in their reduced form. What is my graph going to look like? Volunteer. Emma, you try it?
A horizontal 9/10.
Good.
And to the left.
Good. Okay, any questions about that one? David?
To write the fractions, don't you have to have them all over the same thing?
You mean here?
Yeah.
This is actually 8/10, but it reduces to 4/5.
Oh.
And this is actually 10/10, which reduces to 1. Good question. Any other questions? Okay. Let's go on. We have some word problem examples now. A music club charges 75 cents per song download plus a membership fee of $5.70. Diego can spend at most $15. What is the greatest number of songs that Diego can download? So first we need to define a variable. What would my variable be? David?
S.
Okay, S, and what does S stand for?
Songs.
Let S be, good, the number of songs. Okay, any ideas about how, there we go, how we could write this as an inequality? Even if you can just set up the left side of it, you don't have to give me the whole thing. Go ahead, Megan.
S plus,
Yeah, you're actually right. Good. So,
is less than or equal to 15?
good, less than or equal to 15, because it says he can spend at most $15. That means he can't spend more than $15. That's the most he can spend. So the amount he spends has to be less than or equal to 15. Okay, then I'm going to go through this fairly quickly to solve. Subtract 570 from both sides. I get 0.75 S is less than or equal to be $9.30. Dividing both sides by 75 cents gives me S is less than or equal to 12.4. Now, does it make sense to use 12.4 when we're talking about songs?
No.
What would I use instead, Nathan?
Round.
What would I round it to?
13.
Well, it has to be less than or equal to 12.4. If I round it to 13, will that be less than this? No. So what do I need to do?
Round is 4. I mean, 12.
12. Good. So S is less than or equal to 12. Okay, then there's a you try, which we're not going to do. Your assignment, we're also not going to do the exit ticket just because we're short on time, is in the textbook, page 175, 7 through 27.